Hi guys, and welcome to All About Innovation. Today I want to give you 3 innovation management tips from what I learned in the past working with innovators, being an innovator by myself, and also being part of an innovation lab. So this is today just like knowledge sharing from the past. I tried to make it a little bit more funny so you enjoy that video. Let's kick it. Okay, let's start right away with the first point, and it's marketing. I found this very important because when I was part of an innovation lab in the past, we didn't do too much marketing in the beginning, and I think it's really important to market yourself towards the organization and that people understand what you do. And I see this point still constantly, like I'm asked to help people to innovate, and we do great stuff, but no one speaks about it. And I think that's an essential. You need to talk about what you do. You need to explain what your purpose is. You need to speak to clients so they understand what they can do with you. And all that, like I would just consider all that marketing. So just like try to make some videos, produce content which is easy to consume for your target audience, and find out actually what your target audience is. Like, to whom are you targeting your innovation lab? Like, who's the person who's gonna buy your products, right? So make sure you target the audience and produce content that's like really valuable for them, and they need to understand what you do. And also you want to have a message to the broader audience in the company where you work in, so people just like understand why you're there and what your purpose is. So yeah, marketing is one point I strongly recommend doing constantly. It'll only help you, and it'll only help you look good. And in critical times like these, it's especially important to look good. So make some marketing. Point 2 is the product. And I think it's really good to have some standardized products you can like take like off the shelf and give it to someone who wants to have it, so to say, because I think it's really important to have some cash flow, so to say, in the organization. And if you don't need that cash flow because it's not your KPI, or you don't need to have like kind of a turnover in your innovation lab, still you need to have some standardized product. And it should be like, it can be a workshop, it can also be something bigger, it can be design sprints, it can be also an idea or process how you work along a regular project team, or how you actually produce products by yourself. If you like kind of being more building something like technically, like whatever it can be, like apps for example, you need to have like some off-the-shelf products which you can have. And also what you constantly need to have like kind of like this kind of floating products which are like not ready really, but if someone comes to you and the off-the-shelf doesn't work, you need to have something which is like kind of going in a different direction just to try out what the market wants. And I think that's kind of like a testing with a product. You just try to propose like an MVP, so to say, towards a client or towards an internal organization, and just like try what goes. So just have some regular products, and also have some MVPs, so to say, in your slides when you speak with people about selling. One thing I forgot when it comes to product, it's like you want to make some money potentially. Not all innovation labs need to make money, but most of them do. You want to make sure that you don't overcharge. So I found this very critical. Like, if someone buys from you and there's like a monetary flow between you and that other party, whoever it is, they'll obviously potentially not only looking how much you are, but they potentially also ask someone on the market or someone else in the organization, and they get like kind of quotes. So your quote should not be like super off. You should be clearly describing what you do, and then have a price on that, which is like a market price. If you charge too little, people will come again the next time and they want even lower prices. So the lower you go, the lower you have to go in the future. And if you want to go back up with your prices, if you had an initial lower price, you need to communicate that up front. You need to say, hey, we're just like, it's a new product, you get some discount in the beginning, but never say, okay, this is the price, and later just charge more for the same product. So make sure your pricing is right and you don't overcharge, and you also don't, so to say, undercharge. You need to have the correct price. It's just a a tip from myself: avoids a lot of discussions later, and it keeps your cash flow in, so to say, constant and predictable. And one more thing is also having frequent connections with the world around you and the organization, and also outside of your organization. There's a lot of stakeholders in the field of innovation, and I'm thinking you're probably presenting your company towards the market, but also internally. So you need to make sure you know all that players which are there, like stakeholders. And this is why I can only recommend meeting all those people from time to time. You can invite people for snacks in the evening. You can just over lunch meet them in a cafe. I mean, like I live in Berlin. I can meet people over lunch, right? There are so many cafes, so many bars. I can go there and just like meet people. I invite them to my office. I speak to people on LinkedIn. And it's really interesting also to learn what other people are doing, who are your stakeholders in the industry. So I strongly recommend having a network, not only to maybe win potential clients, but also that the people understand who you are, what role you are, and maybe they want to partner with you, right? So you don't need to kind of sell something with them to them, but you want to maybe, just like be known on the market. It'll potentially help you further. So just like go for coffees, meet new people. This is the only thing I can recommend. That's like very important. Another thing which I find really important is purpose. You need to, these days, everyone's talking about purpose. And I think you also need a purpose. You need to have like that vision where you go to, how you're adding value, what do you do, what are you not doing, are you working only for internal departments, are you working towards the market, like selling actual products, services outside the organization. And it's really important. If you are long there, you need to constantly rethink where you are, where can you go. I mean, innovation is not like a stable thing, so to say. It's floating, right? People change their offerings. You also have to change. So I can only recommend from time to time to revisit that, maybe once a year. You sit together with your team, you look what the market is doing, and then you just like reconsider where you can go, what value is actually, what market size is there, what value can you get from certain clients. Do you want to focus on someone here? Do you don't want to do that? And it's also very important to get new talent in, and also clearly point that out, so that existing talent which just doesn't want to go in that direction. For example, if people are more research focused, they want to more getting insights or whatever, maybe they can go to like a big data unit, or they can go in the R&D department if they want to just go more in that direction. But if you constantly rethink that in your team, people will know where you're heading, and then you will have the right people on board, because the ones who just like don't see value in that, they'll just like go after a while, or they maybe change their mind. And it's also very important to attract the new people in your organization, so you just go in the right direction with the right people. And if you start in the beginning with an innovation lab, you just need that to get the right people, but also to explain your organization, what's your purpose, where are you going, how do you add value to existing departments, how do you add value to the market. Everyone wants to know that, and I think like before you do anything, just figure out the purpose, why you're there. Really important. So the last thing, I kept it till the end, but I think it's really important, even though if sometimes it happens, that you have gaps there. It's knowledge. It's like, if you want to innovate, and if you, for example, if you make sprints, like design sprints, you need to have knowledge about the field where you're trying to improve something on. If you make a design sprint about software and you don't have a software developer in the design sprint, what do you want to do? Like, are you kind of trying to fly to the moon without a rocket? Like, never gonna work. You'll make so much mistakes then in that sprint that it doesn't make sense to do that at all. And the same goes for products. If you build apps, or if you build whatever, if you make workshops, you always need to have knowledge, and it's really important to educate the people. Technology is changing so fast. There's like AI, there's blockchain, there's IoT, everything's like a moving field. There's so much to understand, and you need to make sure that you have the right knowledge to deliver products which are innovative. And that only works if you have knowledge. You need to constantly educate. And I for myself, I read like every day, like 1 or 2 hours, the latest articles, what's happening in the industry I'm in, because it's like relevant. If I don't do that, like how can I innovate? Because if I just say, hey, I'm making that process innovation here and just ignore that industry, where do you want to go? Like how can you help people? You cannot, because everyone else also knows the process and potentially also the industry. So make sure you know something about technologies, you know something about the innovation process, and you need to know the industry. And if you know those 3 things, then you're good. And if not, then you should add that to your to-do list. So that's it for today. If you like that video, just click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.